let's get where the parent's coming from for just 1 second, okay?
Hmm.
Uh, be it religious or cultural or political, their belief system is very strongly against this,
Hmm.
okay? So they fear for their child. They may fear for their child's soul. They may fear for their child's future. They may fear for their child's life, but they certainly fear. And yes, they're being reactive to rebellion, and that's making it much worse, or much more fraught, let's say.
Hmm.
But part of it is just simply fear, the sort of fear that we all have that I was discussing earlier with my own regarding my own child,
Hmm.
my own child's future, because we do truly, truly fear it. And keeping them from a place, keeping them from the city, which seems silly to us because we are city people.
Uh-huh.
We may not be living in the city right now, but we are fundamentally city and not suburban people.
Yeah.
We want to be where the artists are. We want to be in diverse neighborhoods, and to keep them from that keeps them in this little cocoon where they're always going to feel like they're the only one who is this way. I do feel really bad for her. The
Yeah.
the mom I'm talking about right now.
All the mom.
The
I
mom.
don't.
Yeah, you don't because she did these awful things, but I feel
She
really
chose
bad for
this.
her.
She
What?
chooses this. She
She
chooses this
chooses
life.
it over and over and over again, but she chooses it because that's her pattern and she's terrified,
Yep.
and she doesn't know how to do better. So I'm going to ask you right now. I know this will be a challenge. You are up for it. Okay?
Okay.
You are. I'm going to ask you to send her and not her trans son, just her right now, love and compassion.
I tried that before the party. Oh.
I feel that sometimes we're given these really extreme examples, not only to remind us that things could be worse, but or even to show us how much progress we've made as humans and as parents, okay? But to also show us where our belief systems and our behaviors and our energy are blocking our children from being who they are. So even if it's not, and maybe this lesson was just for me and not for you, but even if it's not such a, even if it's nothing like this example, as it isn't for mine, allowing my eldest to learn how to do these things on his own, and he's taking more responsibility than I think actually belongs to him, but allowing him to do that and move forward, that's an important part of maturing and knowing that he'll be okay and letting go of that element of parenting without feeling guilty about it, you know. Because I do think that there's a part of you that just feels so frustrated by this parent that I won't say that you compounded things, but that you didn't make things better in the moment.
Oh, I know I didn't. I am fully aware that I did not make it better, but
Yeah.
that's because I was trying to let her know how fucked up she is.
Yeah, yeah, but getting someone's disapproval just kind of feeds into the whole, I'm right and I'm going to stay in this rightness, this
Hmm.
righteousness.
The
Uh,
righteousness.
yeah, which is certainly what she did.
Hmm.
When we work so hard to do something right for our kids and then it gets screwed up by somebody else, we hold on to huge amounts of resentment for that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where I am. And
And this is why your energy went backwards, because it's oppositional energy.
right, it
Okay.
was pretty stuck.
It's not productive, nurturing energy, it's oppositional energy.
Right.
And, the kids have all of this oppositional energy too, of course. Uh, and maybe that's, it's interesting that you put on the energy, the same energy as her child,
Hmm.
you know, as an adult who is not related to her and in no way under her power. So there's something about her that kind of fosters that,
Oh,
uh,
interesting.
about her energy. So
Hmm.
because you didn't have a reason uh, for doing that, you didn't need to rebel against her.
I kind of did. I kind of did. I just feel so bad for the kids that the parents are like that.
Yeah,
And I feel like there's like a great rebellion and I want them to feel safe to do whatever. I can't, and I see their energy like this.
yeah,
They make themselves so
so
small,
small, so small.
so small.
Yeah, and sometimes they make themselves small for school and for classmates and for the social group that they're in. And sometimes they make themselves small for their parents, and sometimes it's both, or their church, or their community, or whatever. So there's lots of ways and lots of reasons that children and adults for that matter make themselves really small. And that is disturbing to see because we know what the after effects are on that. We know what the long term effects are of making yourself small. Health wise, it's a really, really bad thing to do.
Yeah.
Um, and learning to expand your energy, learning to really be out there and feel safe doing so. Because in some circumstances you may not actually be safe. You may not be literally safe
Hmm.
expanding your energy that way. Think of how little she can control her life. And I
Yeah.
know that's a choice,
Hmm.
okay? But it's a choice that she makes every day without realizing that she has other choices, that she has
Hmm.
other options, okay? Uh, I think the most productive thing you can do is encourage him to look at universities in the city or schooling or a future whatever in the city. I mean, better that it be in a different city, but if that's not an option, any city. Well, there are so many times in our lives when we can make choices the other direction. When I got sick, my parents desperately wanted me to come home.
Hmm.
And looking at it as a mom, that is totally understandable to me.
Yeah.
But I also felt that it was a trap and that if
Mm.
I was going to be sick and this was going to be the rest of my life, that I had to learn to deal with it.
Mm.
Otherwise, I would never live alone. I would never be independent. I would always be dependent on them. So I said no.
Yeah.
I just refused. And a lot of things were a lot harder than they needed to be because I said no. But on the other hand, I learned how to handle it on my own.
Yeah.
Uh,
Trying to look. But yeah, like the freedom to self-express. I think that my daughter has attracted all of these
who need to
this
figure
way.
out how to self-express because she's good at it.
She's so good at it.
So
And I love,
they're using her as a model. They're using you as a model too.
yeah, I know.
Okay? So when you put out the oppositional energy, they don't get that modeling. They're
That's
getting the same thing that, they're doing. And you may be better at it, don't get me wrong. But in terms of how to be themselves and feel comfortable and confident in their bodies and with the lives they have chosen, that's something that you can give people.
Yeah.
You can give that to adults or to children, you know, these older teens learning who they are.
Yeah, I feel like that's because in the last few years I've seen the parents. How are they living in this world that is breaking into this self-expression of like it's okay to be this way. It's okay to be different. And neurodivergent or whatever, all of these things. And they're like holding on so tightly to what was,
Yeah.
you know,
Hmm.
and those people are holding on so tightly to what was for
Because they're
safety.
afraid. Yeah.
They're afraid. And I said, but why would you choose to live in fear? Why wouldn't you be curious and be like, huh, I wonder why they act this way. I wonder, and I'm trying to figure out myself why. And I,
Not everybody's parents do the best job they can do, but most people do. Even if they're even if it wasn't a very good job, most people operate at the limits of their capacity.